Hey y'all, welcome to Charleston. We're so glad you're here.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.
We can't wait to meet you. Hey y'all, today we're going to walk you around our beautiful city of Charleston. This is a walk we take our friends and family on, and it really lets you hit all the highlights of downtown Charleston. So let's get to steppin'. Put the Queen Street Garage in your GPS and park here. This is a great central location in the French Quarter and a relatively inexpensive parking garage. Here you'll see popular restaurants such as 82 Queen, which we just got a peek at. If you go down the tiny narrow corridor into 82 Queen, you'll find their gorgeous outdoor garden where you can sit and eat. It's beautiful. And here you can see Husk and Poogan's Porch, two old historic Charleston homes turned restaurants. Delicious food. And note, there's even a Poogan's Porch now in Somerville. Another little note about Poogan's Porch in Charleston, it was named after a dog that was left behind at the restaurant. The owners decided to adopt him and name the restaurant after him. Poogan was so beloved that he was buried on the property, and you'll see a little plaque for him at the restaurant. Such a sweet story. Continue walking on Queen Street past Meeting Street. Here you'll see the beautiful pink Mills House Hotel, home of lots of beautiful Charleston weddings. Continue right on Steppin' down Queen Street and enjoy the beautiful architecture. We are so lucky to live here. It's so charming. Don't you agree? This was filmed on a beautiful sunny November day. Time for our first fun fact about Charleston. Charleston, South Carolina has been named the #1 city in the United States for the 12th consecutive year by Travel and Leisure magazine. We always knew it was the best, but wow! This beautiful building on our right is the Dock Street Theater, which was the first theater in America. You can still see productions here today. Continue on Queen Street, right past Church Street. Here you can see the beautiful French Huguenot Church at the corner of Queen Street and Church Street. The next fun fact, buildings in Charleston must be no taller than the tallest church steeple, which is St. Matthew's Lutheran Church. The Holy City gets its nickname from its skyline full of steeples, not necessarily from the behavior of its fun-loving citizens. Charleston, the port city, was founded in 1670 and is defined by its cobblestone streets, horse-drawn carriages, and pastel antebellum houses, particularly in the elegant French Quarter and Battery districts. Here's one of those carriage rides now at the corner of Queen Street and State Street. If you have the opportunity to take one of these carriage rides in downtown, it's a pretty fun experience and a great way to see the city. Let's continue stepping until we hit the beautiful East Bay Street, full of restaurants, shopping, rooftop bars, and even the famous Rainbow Row, which we'll come back to later. Crossing right over East Bay Street, you'll see the beautiful Vendue Hotel and Rooftop Bar on the right-hand side. If you're interested in rooftop bar hopping, check out our video on the top 10 rooftop bars in Charleston. Hey, did you know that Charleston was the 4th largest city in colonial America and the wealthiest? Keep in mind, we haven't even left Queen Street yet. You'll see a really cool Irish pub to check out called the Griffin. Check out all those dollar bills, y'all. Keep a truckin' right on past the ice cream shop, or don't, and stop in for a cool treat on a hot day. And here we're coming up on the water fountain at the start of Waterfront Park. You're sure to see kids splashing around in here on a hot summer day. Opening in 2025, you may be able to stay at the cool new waterfront hotel called the Cooper. You'll have some of the most amazing views of the Charleston Harbor. Something fun to do is to take the water taxi from Daniel Island, one of the most beautiful places in the Low Country. There you can see me doing it with some friends, and you can take it to downtown Charleston. Makes for a perfect evening out with some friends and a fun mode of transportation. The Wharf Pier is historically a long parcel of land that was the center of local maritime traffic, traveling in and out of the Charleston Harbor. Here in the distance, you can also see Patriots Point, which is the home to the World War II aircraft carrier USS Yorktown. The Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum on South Carolina's Charleston Harbor is a must-see. With World War II aircraft carrier USS Yorktown as a centerpiece, the museum is also home to destroyer USS Laffey, the Cold War Memorial, the Vietnam Experience, the Medal of Honor Museum, and the Congressional Medal of Honor Society. It's nearly 1 million square feet of hands-on history, combined with hero stories and stunning natural landscapes. Back to our walk in Joe Riley Waterfront Park. Joe Riley was the beloved 60th mayor of Charleston. Take a stroll or a jog in beautiful Waterfront Park, or grab a coffee and sit on one of the park benches and enjoy the view. You'll see beautiful waterfront apartments and condos to the right-hand side and the famous Pineapple Fountain to the left. The popularly photographed Pineapple Fountain is a symbol of the city's history, hospitality, and recovery. Hospitality. The pineapple is a symbol of Southern hospitality. In colonial times, pineapples were rare and expensive and were considered a status symbol. A prominent host would display a pineapple as a centerpiece on their table. Symbolic. Sailors would spear a pineapple into their fence post to let others know they were home safe, and the pineapple became an invitation to share stories and have a meal or drink. Recovery. The fountain opened to the public after Hurricane Hugo and symbolizes the city's recovery. The fountain is a popular place for weddings, photo shoots, and families, and one of the most photographed spots in Charleston. In the distance, you can see one of North America's longest cable-stayed bridge, the Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge. It spans the Charleston Harbor, connecting historic Charleston and Mount Pleasant. You can also sneak a peek of Fort Sumter in the distance, where the first shots of the Civil War were fired. Such beautiful views, and you'll often see dolphins playing near the pier as well. Enjoy one last peek of Waterfront Park before we turn right onto Middle Atlantic Wharf Street. Middle Atlantic Wharf Street has charm with those cobblestone streets and what used to be horse stables, now turned law offices. Time for another fun fact. The College of Charleston was founded in 1770, and it's the 13th oldest school in the country. Many of the college's founders were pivotal in the Revolutionary War, and were signers of the Declaration of Independence. As you can tell, Charleston oozes with history. Take a left at the crossroad and we're back onto East Bay Street. Soon we'll be coming up on the Old Exchange Building, a little history about that building. Completed in 1771, the Old Exchange Building is a Charleston landmark and the site of some of the most important events in South Carolina history. Over the last 2.5 centuries, the building has been a commercial exchange, custom house, post office, city hall, military headquarters, and museum. During the American Revolution, British forces converted the bottom floor of the exchange into a military prison known as the Provost or Dungeon. American prisoners of war, British soldiers, private citizens, and enslaved people all endured its harsh confines. The exchange in 1788 hosted South Carolina leaders as they debated and approved the U.S. Constitution. In 1791, city leaders entertained President George Washington at the exchange with a series of lavish dinners, concerts, and dances, attended by hundreds of members of Charleston's elite. Today, the Old Exchange Building is one of only 3 structures remaining where the nation's founding document was originally ratified. And every year on the 4th of July, the Declaration of Independence is read on the stairs of the Old Exchange Building. Continuing on past the corner of East Bay and Broad Street, you'll find America's oldest liquor store called the Tavern Wine and Spirits, established in 1686. How cool is that? Cheers, y'all! Continuing on down East Bay Street and past East Elliott Street, you'll get your first peeks of Rainbow Row. Rainbow Row is significant for its history, its colorful appearance, and its role as a symbol of Charleston's heritage. The row houses on Rainbow Row date back to the mid-18th century and were once the center of Charleston's maritime and merchant activity. The homes have survived many natural disasters, wars, and urban development projects. 13 homes make up Rainbow Row, and many have speculated over the true reason for the color transformation. One theory is that the homes were painted various pastel colors so that intoxicated sailors might find their way home easier. Others believe that the various hues were the merchants' way of indicating what types of items they sold there. One other theory is that the homes were painted lighter colors to keep them cooler during the hot Charleston summers. No matter what the true meaning behind the pastel colors was, Rainbow Row is now an unmistakable part of Charleston's history. Stay on East Bay Street and don't turn down Elliott Street. We just wanted to follow this sweet man and his dog. Aren't they so cute? Okay, let's keep stepping on East Bay Street. Eventually, East Bay Street will turn into East Battery Street, and here you can walk along the water. The Battery is a landmark defensive seawall and promenade in Charleston, famous for its stately antebellum homes. In fact, here's one now. The John Ravenel House is one of the grandest homes in the city and one of the most recognized. This home has 8 bedrooms, 8.5 bathrooms, and sprawls over 9,400 square feet, with sweeping views of the harbor and Fort Sumter. This home is currently listed for sale, and it can be yours for the low price of $22,250,000. Anyone want to go halvesies? The Battery stretches along the lower shores of the Charleston Peninsula, bordered by the Ashley and Cooper Rivers, which meet here to form the Charleston Harbor. The Battery offers majestic views of Fort Sumter, the USS Yorktown, Fort Moultrie, and Sullivan's Island Lighthouse. The Battery is a popular spot for both tourists and joggers. The White Point Garden is also located in Battery Park, a famous wedding destination. With over 4,500 weddings a year in Charleston, many are held right here at White Point Garden. When you exit White Point Garden, you'll be right back onto South Battery Street. Continue walking and enjoying the beautiful views until you come to the end of the gardens. Then you're going to take a right onto King Street. As you can see, we're making that right-hand turn now onto King Street. This part of King Street is the residential side. Later on, we'll come to the commercial side with the high-end shopping and beautiful restaurants. The old single houses in Charleston have their narrowest side facing the street, and long, often double or triple-decker porches, or piazzas, stretch along the long sides of the house. The front door is on the side of the house, and the house is often only one room wide. It's a really distinctive style of architecture, perfectly suited for Charleston's old tax laws and sticky climate. The piazzas face south and west to catch the coastal breezes, while the narrow facade on the street side limits the property tax burden. If you like all things creepy and scary, be sure to book a ghost tour when you're in town. In a city that's endured everything from war, slavery, earthquakes, and hurricanes, to financial prosperity and artistic achievement, ghosts, haunted places, and legends are everywhere. Walk the jail cells and hallways where Charleston's worst criminals lived and died. Feel the chill from the spirits of former war prisoners in the Provost Dungeon. Explore centuries-old and exclusive cemeteries and graveyards to hear the haunted tales of the authors and poets, artists, politicians, bootleggers, prostitutes, and socialites who still reside there. The Miles Brewton house has quite the history. Be sure and check out the article written by Town & Country magazine, linked in the description below. Another fun fact, Dr. Alexander Garden, a Charleston physician, first imported Cape jasmine from South Africa circa 1754. The flower was renamed gardenia after Dr. Garden. A color you'll see all over the city is haint blue, which is omnipresent on Charleston's porch ceilings. Many Southerners believed that painting the porch ceiling this color wards off evil haints or spirits. Did you know that Charleston was once a part of Barbados? In 1670, the British landed in Charleston. They had initially headed here from Barbados, where they'd arrived in 1627, searching for supplies and provisions. After discovering the sugar cane growing in Charleston, they settled in the area. If you've ever been to Bridgetown in Barbados, You'll probably recognize Charleston almost instantly. The two towns are very similar in layout. Many of Charleston's streets were named after areas of Barbados, and the architecture from the 1600s is similar to the style of buildings in Bridgetown. Over 3 centuries later, the connection still exists. The threads of West African and Caribbean influences are woven into the tapestry of South Carolina's culture. These influences are present in sometimes faint ways, such as in our wonderfully rich culinary, art, and music traditions, and sometimes in very prominent ways, such as the inspiring Gullah culture and traditions of the Carolina Lowcountry. Don't you just love how almost every home downtown has a beautiful garden on the side or in the back? Here's another little tidbit. Charleston adopted its present name in 1783 from Charles Town. The community's name of Charles Town honored the king, but was changed to Charleston at the end of the Revolutionary War. Who loves baseball? Charleston's first baseball team was the Seagulls, established in 1886. The team is now called the Charleston River Dogs. Part owner and director of fun is actor and Charleston local Bill Murray. We're still on King Street, about to pass over Broad Street. When you're here in Charleston, you'll hear a lot of people reference places as being north of Broad or south of Broad. South of Broad is the Battery, the beautiful antebellum homes, and all the pretty houses we just saw on King Street. North of Broad is more of the commercial district, the shopping, the restaurant, businesses, and where the action happens. There's an awesome restaurant located on East Bay Street where the acronym is SNOB, slightly north of Broad. You can see we're starting to make our way through the shopping and dining district of King Street. King Street is one of the most famous streets in Charleston. See the historic Charleston Library. After 275 years, the Charleston Library Society remains the oldest cultural institution in the South and the second oldest circulating library in the country. If you cross over King Street directly across from the public library and go down this beautiful little passage here, you'll come to one of the most peaceful and serene old cemeteries that you've ever seen. We're not going to record back in the cemetery out of respect, but we'll take you down the little path just so you can have a peek. Back where we started, across from the public library and on King Street. Don't forget to check out Second Sunday on King Street. Every month on the second Sunday, the City of Charleston shuts down King Street to through traffic for roughly a half of a mile. That gives the whole street for people to walk around and enjoy downtown. You're sure to find shops that you didn't even know about, and the stores will roll out their merchandise onto the sidewalk. Carefully curated artists show their work on the street, and unique food vendors will try and tempt you with their delicious smells. a look on the left and you may recognize this theater. This is the Riviera Theater and it's featured in the movie The Notebook. Someday we're going to create a video showcasing a Notebook tour of the area. So many recognizable scenes were filmed right here in the Low Country. Continue walking up King Street and you'll find it's home to many shopping destinations, including Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Love Shack Fancy, and popular dining spots such as Hall's Chop House, 167 Raw Oyster Bar, and The Ordinary. Once you've made all those fancy purchases, you'll turn back around and head back the way that you came on King Street. There you can see the Riviera Theater again. And here you're going to turn onto Market Street. When you're walking along Market Street, you'll come to the Charleston Place. This is an absolutely gorgeous hotel, and at Christmas time, they fill this space with a ginormous Christmas tree, and they let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. They bring in fake snow, they have hot chocolate and cookies, and really make it a fun event for the kids. It's open to hotel guests and non-hotel guests alike. At the corner of Market and Meeting Street, you'll come to the Charleston City Market, which draws hundreds of thousands of people each year and is free to enter and explore. Dating back to the late 18th century, the Charleston City Market is a National Historic Landmark spanning 4 city blocks. Home to more than 300 daily vendors, this is one of the nation's oldest and largest public markets. The Charleston Market is open daily from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and the night market is open from 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Friday and Saturdays. It's a great place to find locally made souvenirs and gifts. I've got another fun fact for you. The first golf club in America was established in Charleston in 1787, and Charleston was home to the first golf game in the United States. At the market, you'll also find locals making beautiful sweetgrass baskets. These individuals are so talented and the baskets are absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend them as a souvenir to take home. If you're walking along the outside of the market, on the right-hand side, you'll find more shopping, an Escape in 60 game room, other restaurants such as the Charleston Crab House and the Oyster House. And at the very end of the street, you'll find the Market Pavilion Hotel with the rooftop bar called the Pavilion Bar. It's a beautiful bar. It has excellent views of the city, the Customs House, the Ravenel Bridge, and the Charleston Harbor. There's even a swimming pool up there available for hotel guests, which is pretty cool. If you are walking outside of the Charleston Market on the left-hand side, here you're looking at the beautiful Church and Union restaurant. Church and Union is a 105-year-old church turned restaurant. This restaurant is gorgeously designed and oftentimes has live music, which resonates throughout the entire restaurant. The ceiling of Church and Union features the full text of Sun Tzu's The Art of War, hand-painted across it, with the entire 11,450 words displayed as a prominent design element within the restaurant space. Back at the end of the Charleston City Market, at the corner of Market Street and East Bay Street, take a right onto East Bay Street. Here you'll pass the Customs House on the left-hand side and the Charleston Port. 2024 will be the last year for boat cruises that leave out of Charleston, South Carolina. These cruises used to go to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. However, cruises will still pass through Charleston, it just won't be a departing point. This will still support the city's tourism industry without causing traffic congestion. On East Bay Street, you'll find the wonderfully delicious Carmela's Dessert Bar. Hey, you got in a lot of steps today. Treat yourself to a delicious dessert from Carmela's. They've got some of the best desserts in town. After you've enjoyed a delicious dessert, dinner downtown, or maybe even a drink on a rooftop, head back to your car parked at the Queen Street Garage. Here's a little map of the walk we did. Enjoy your time downtown and welcome to Charleston.
Bye, Mommy.
Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in learning more about the Charleston area, please give me a call. I look forward to talking to you. Bye!